my just my layout up here. There's no boxes, if you notice, around the corner. So I always come up here at the top. It should say, I'm on my selection tool. It should say auto select. I check on and show transform controls. My transform controls gives me these little nodes on the end or anchor points. I can move, make things smaller. Okay. What I want to do is I want 5 photos, and I'm just going to do a traditional layout, 3 over here, 2 over here. I want you to find out what works for your pictures, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rectangle. What I think a photo should be. And I don't want them to be too big, so if I make them too large, I've got to copy this 5 times. Now, I'm going to make them all the same. You don't have to. If you're going to make them different, you might want to make them the same size, just some vertical, some horizontal. For example, I'll make them about that big, and then I hit V, or I could go up and hit the selection tool. That's so I can move them. I'm going to make a copy of these. I'm going to make 5 of them. So I'm going to hold the option button down. If you notice, my cursor went to 2 arrows, and I'm clicking and dragging. Okay, I'm going to do this 5 times. And I'm going to place them later. But if I didn't like the way that size was, I'd delete them all except for the first one and edit it. But I can also come in here and let's say I want to rotate them and put them vertically. As long as they're all the same size, I think it doesn't matter. So if I want to change the size a little larger, I'd have to go in and delete all these and do it again. Copy, copy, copy. But also understand that how big things are. So if I grab this top one, put on 0 up here, it is 5 inches. If I did this, 2 3/4 by, so 4 by 5 is what this box is. So if you look on a ruler and on paper, you can kind of see how big this will print out. Fairly large, but again, we're making a poster that's 1 foot by 1.5 feet, 12 by 18. So that's kind of how you start it, is getting your boxes the way you want them. Again, you can rotate them after you make the boxes, but you want the boxes in here. And again, the picture's vertical or horizontal, depends on what you get on the internet. So I'm going to go ahead and put my title in. I'm going to go to dafont.com to download my title that I want, because I can go in here and click T and just click and find a font. Or if you want to be creative and find your own fonts, you can do that. We got the spinny ball. Okay, so I just click, and this one's going to be called Depth of Field. Again, if you notice, I did not draw a box. I just clicked and typed. Get my selection tool over here on the left, and then I can make this how I want it. Again, it's never use default font. It looks so bad. Sometimes you can go in here and actually all caps it for a title, and then we can come in and change it. Now, I'm on my selection tool. I'm going to go to dafont.com. I download this one that's called Grease. I want to open it. It's down here in my downloads. Open, and you can go through and find whatever font that matches. You don't want to have a really girly font if you're doing a theme that is masculine. You kind of want to keep them in the same family. So Grease, unzipped it. Now right here we should be able to open, On the TTF file, I'm going to double click. Sometimes there'll be an OTF file. Install font. Make sure there's no errors. If there's an error, make sure you click on it and say install anyways. Go back to Photoshop. It's called V. Hit T down here or double click, however you want to do it. Highlight it. Then we're going to come up here and find Grease. Got a slow computer today. Well, while this is spinning, what you want to do in the meantime is also go find photos that are of a theme. I did not pick a theme just because I want to show you a different variety of photos, but the theme should all be similar. If you are going to have a theme of cats, make sure they're all cats, depth of field, or whatever topic yours that you get, but make sure you have a theme involved so it makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go look for, if I click G, it was Grease. It should be here. Depth of field, perfect. Now I can go in, change the color, hit enter over this little checkbox. I can come in and highlight all, change the color of my font. Again, this will depend on my photos, I believe. So let's just say I got my title and I'm make it a little larger, put it in the center. You know where the center is at, so make sure these boxes line up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my photos over these. So I'm going to click on the one that I want to, let's say I wanted this one, I want to put a photo in it. I'm going to go to my photos, which I've already put them on my desktop in a folder. You need to go to Google, find them, put them in a folder, File, Place, and we go to Desktop, wherever your folder is, and I'm just going to pick one of these and Place. Now what this will do is it'll put your photo, it could be large, could be small, could be, the bigger is always better. You have this X and it's blurry. You can either come up here and hit a check mark or hit enter or return on your computer. The main thing is your picture on the layers palette over here is above the rectangle. What you'll do is go to your photo, control click, which is right click, create clipping mask. What it's going to do is it's going to go inside of the rectangle that you have below. Now if I come over here and move it, if you notice, it's only inside this rectangle. Now your goal is not to make it fit the rectangle, it's to put it inside the rectangle as best as possible. Because if you just came in here like this, I'm going to undo. If I did this and went like this, like so, it smushes it. So you just want to make sure when you move it in, you're holding shift and it's going to be finished just like that. Now one thing I want to do is put a rectangle or a stroke around it. So not on the picture, because the picture, if I put an outline on the picture, you won't see it. So I'm going to go to the rectangle below, right click on the blue area. I'm going to go to, actually, I'm going to double click, excuse me. Double click on the blue area. Move out of the way, hit stroke, hit the word stroke, and then right now it says it black. You can make it black, you can make it whatever color. If you want to match colors, you can come in here and say I want to pick this one, and then you always go inside. I'm going to make it really large so you can see. If I went outside, it just looks like a third grader did it, used a cheap program on the internet. We want to go inside like so. You can change it to whatever you feel that it needs to be. You could even come in and pick a color in the photo itself. Okay. If you want to have the same stroke on all of your photos, you need to go to this rectangle in the layers palette, right click, copy layer style, and then come up. I'm grabbing all of them by holding shift, right click, paste layer style. So if you notice, everyone has the same size stroke, the same color. Now is I'm going to go in and put a photo in here. So I clicked on this picture or this rectangle, file, place. Now I'm going to go and find a photo that looks good. Now if you notice, I picked all the photos that are landscape. So if you're going to do a vertical picture, you need to make sure you have a vertical. If I have a vertical rectangle here, make sure your picture is vertical. I did not do that, so this one might not crop very well. Again, I'm going to right click, create clipping mask. It might look okay since the main subject of the photo is the bug. So again, themed, if you're doing all oceans or all babies or all Chicago Cubs, whatever you wish to do, you can put in here to make it look themed. But for this example, I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call that good. I'm gonna go again, continue to put some in, but now I want to do something to the background. You can use color, brushes, textures, pictures. So what I'm going to do, I found a photo I want to put back there. I want to put back some colors also. So what I'm going to do is go to my background layer. I'm going to fill it. I want another layer, which I'm going to hit new layer. If you notice where it's at, right next to the trash can. I'm going to put some color into it. So I'm going to go edit, fill. And I'm just going to pick some color, like a cream color, because I kind of like the cream look. Let's see if I can get it. Kind of like so. Okie dokie. Now if you notice it filled, it's not the background layer. I like to keep my background layer just plain old white. Now I'm going to put a picture on it. So if you notice, I'm right on this background layer I created. I could even come in here and label it. Some people like labeling everything because it allows them to keep track. You can come in here and label these photos. This one is piano. So I'll put in keys. No keys. You can go in here and label these however you wish. Just so you know that you're on the right picture when you're clicking. Okay, I'm going to go back to my background layer. I'm going to add a photo, file, place, and I'm going to blend these in. The photo was of the aperture because aperture and depth of field go hand in hand. Now let's say I only want this one. I'm going to turn all these other layers off. Do that for me. I want this one right here. So what I got, I have my background layer selected. I'm going to go and let's not erase, let's hide it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a clipping mask. This little guy right here. On this white area, I'm going to paint black. Okay, so I'm going to get my paintbrush. Actually, let's not do that. Let's not do the paintbrush. Let's go to Magic Wand. Let's select the white. So I've got the white selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo. I'm going to go back a couple layers just so you can see how to go back to history. Go back up. If you notice down here, my mask disappeared. So I want to grab my quick selection. This is the one I want. And then I want to hold shift to get the white in the middle. So I've got my selection. Now watch this. I hit my mask, undo. I selected what I want to keep. Come down here and hit mask. Now that my depth of field picture is still there. So I'm going to make it a little smaller. Hit enter. Turn these back on. Then I might do different things with it. I might put them up here. But my main thing is I want to come in and turn my opacity down so it's more in the background. It's there subconsciously, but you really don't see it. You might even come in here and make copies of them. Hold an option. Maybe I'll make some more. Maybe I want to make like a little background of it that's like a pattern of some sort. Not too bad. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it at the moment, but you want to go through and place them where you want them. Okay. Now I've got photos. If you want to move them, make sure you click both if you want to move these. So like here, hold shift, grab the rectangle. I can move these. If there's no photo, I'm moving however I want at the moment. I'm going to rotate it back. Now, one other thing I want to show you is the Brush Easy. So I went to brusheasy.com and I'm going to type in swirls and see what we get. Now, Shutterstock images, these are photos. We don't want those. Ones that say premium, we can't get those unless you want to pay for them. But let's say I want this one. It says a floral pattern. So I'm wondering if this is a pattern or a brush. If it's a brush, great. If it's a pattern, I'll have to show you something else to do. But I'm going to go ahead and find one that is good to use, but it's a brush. Let's try this one right here. This looks good. So I'm going to hit download, click. Your file will be downloaded in 3 seconds. We'll just wait for it. It's a zip file. So if you notice in your file it says zip, then you got to unzip it. If it says ABR, that's the file you need. So I'm going to hit open only if it's a zip file. I got to make sure it opens up by double clicking it. Once it opens, right there, floral brushes. Go back to Photoshop. Click on your paintbrush. Come up here. Load brushes.
No kidding.